Hi, everybody. Hi, everybody. Hi, everybody. It's okay. I think we're okay. Something looks weird. All right. All right, Mom Brain, are you ready to start? Let me make sure this is working right. Something doesn't seem right here.
You take your time. Let me know when you're ready.
Oh, they're saying, I see people saying hello. Can you hear me?
Can you hear me? What are you doing?
Hey, hello. Can you hear me? Oh, there. I heard myself. All right, let's do this thing. Thank you, guys. 3, 2, 1. GoNintendo Podcast Webisode 722. The Rowlet Podcast. Mom Brain.
Uh-huh.
Can you tell us about Rowlet, please?
Rowlet is a small avian Pokemon resembling a young owl with a round body and short legs. Its plumage is primarily beige.
Plumage, that is?
Really?
Yes.
With a white underside and facial disc. The facial disc itself is in the shape of 2 overlapping circles. It has large black eyes and a stubby beak. The top part of its beak is white, while the lower half is an orange-brown, rather than brown-orange. Don't touch my Switch.
Go on, please.
Its feet have 2 forward-facing toes and 1 backward-facing toe. They're the same color as the lower half of its beak. 2 leaves sprout from its chest, arranged to resemble a bow tie. Additional leaves form its tail and line the undersides of its wings. Please be careful, it's a sensitive piece of expensive technology.
There you go.
A nocturnal Pokemon, it stores its energy during the day through photosynthesis. It approaches opponents by silently gliding. That's what I do. Before unleashing a volley of kicks.
Before vomiting. Unleashing a vomit.
An owl pellet?
Petlet.
This Pokemon is able to rotate its head almost 180 degrees and has excellent night vision. Its feathers are sharp as blades, which it launches at its foes from the air. Rowlet feel most relaxed in tight, dark spaces. That is where I feel not at all relaxed. It's number 722. It's a flying type. They are way more male than female. I mean, only about 12% of them are females. Must make mating difficult. They're a foot tall. They're 3 pounds. Oh, that's so cute and little and cute.
There's other things in life besides mating, you know.
Well, sure, but if there's no mating, there's no life. So there's that.
But if you're already alive, then you're alive. And if you're not alive, then you don't know.
Mm-hmm.
Just be a happy Rowlet.
I mean, I'm not looking to mate.
Okay, guys. Let's see what we got here. Hello, Stitched, and Malik Halo, and TAW, and Rockya, and NES, and Santiago, and Callaway, and Electronic Counter Plays. Sorry about that. Deontay, Motherbrain, Cercer, Klaztech, Northern Sequence, Captain Caveman 86. And Captain Caveman, I was thinking the same thing earlier today. Captain Caveman says he needs the Cadence of Hyrule soundtrack. I need that as well. So let us talk about...
It wasn't a very busy week, news-wise.
No, not really. Not much going on. We're going to talk all about all the E3 jazz and all that. But first, today's podcast is sponsored by Leisure Suit Larry. Wet dreams don't dry. Larry is back in business. His new adventure, Leisure Suit Larry Wet Dreams Don't Dry, takes Larry from the end of the 80s directly into the 21st century. And wow, how the world has changed. Larry's view of the world and women from way back in the 80s collides with modern reality, and he's all set to date his way across the modern world.
I'm pretty sure that Leisure Suit Larry would have been someone that came up in the Me Too movement.
Are you kidding me?
You're like holding your breath. You're like, not Larry, not Larry.
Well, I mean, I think Larry would be safe because honestly, he doesn't really have sex with people. He tries to, but it doesn't work out for him.
You don't have to have sex with someone.
I'm just saying, like, he doesn't like. Larry is vulgar, certainly, but he never mistreats women. He never encroaches on their personal space without their permission. So. Explore a lovingly designed non-linear game world set in the modern world with over 30 hand-drawn venues. Use Timber, the in-game app, along with an innovative dating mechanism to date women, consequently improve your score at Timber, and ultimately clear the way to Faith, the woman of your dreams. Solve True Blue puzzles and interact with over 30 hand-drawn characters. Leisure Suit Larry Wet Dreams Don't Dry is available on the Switch eShop right now. So go there and check it out. Thank you very much to those guys for sponsoring us.
Just scored myself a snow yam.
It's greatly appreciated. Hello, Agent Iron Cat. Thanks for joining us. You just scored a what?
Snow yam.
The hell's a snow yam?
Snow yam and Earl.
There was something else I wanted to do before we got into. Oh yes, we now have, thanks to T27 Duck, we now have a Discord. So if you'd like to learn more, I haven't signed up for it. Hello, Darth Lobster. Thanks for joining.
Does that make us cool?
No, we'll never be cool.
But so the opposite of James.
James? Oh, yeah. I haven't had the chance to set up my name or anything like that, so I'm not in there. I will be in there next week, but yes, we have a Discord. If you go over to the site, we have a post about it, and you can check out all the details that you need. The IRC is still, you got to go, Ness? All right. We'll see you later. Thanks for joining.
Something we said?
So you can get all the information you need, and I'll be in there next week. Hello, Xeno Emblem. Xeno Emblem says, you're cool in my eyes, RMC.
That's really nice.
I mean, that's really the only opinion I'm out for. Mother Brain says, I'm too old. I don't know what's a Discord. It's like where people go to chat, basically, and send pictures. It's a meme distribution platform. That's what it is. Hello, Swedish Galaxy, if I didn't say hello to you. We had... I want to go back and find the comment. Yeah, Electronic Counterplays, who after the Pokemon decided the podcast wasn't for him, he said, sorry, man, I'm going to go. This is more boring than I thought it would be. Well, we lost one. Hello. Did I say Malakila? Yeah, I did. Do I have some kind
I'd like to know how boring that person thought it would be.
Hello, Tess. That's enough, Deontay. Tess says it's IRC with a different face. Yeah, that's pretty much what Discord is. Yes, Callaway, I want to bring that up as well. The latest Splatfest is going on right now, and it is, my brain, one that you're going to find to be very important. It's Team Unicorn versus Team Narwhal.
I wore my unicorn headband on my run today.
So you're saying unicorn it is?
I mean... Look, there's those who are going to say that a narwhal is real and a unicorn is not. And those who say that are what we call a-holes.
Hello, Hud of Blue Teeth. Thanks for joining us. Hud of Blue Teeth says, finally watching a live podcast. Well, if you're like the last guy, you'll be leaving in a couple minutes.
Bored out of your gourd.
I just love that somebody is like, within a minute, they're like, nope, not for me.
And had to say so. Who doesn't love you?
Oh, man. No, it's okay. I know the show's not for everybody. That's fine. But for those of you
really for me.
For those of you who are with us, thank you. Do we have an eyeglasses cleaner around here?
I don't know. You're in charge of that crap.
We usually have a red.
Like
oh, I see it. I see it.
I gotta put felts on the bottom of these chairs, scratching up my floors.
All right. So yes, it was E3. There's certainly plenty of stuff to talk about.
But we won't talk about any of it.
We're gonna recap that stuff for you. I don't know where Kirby is. He didn't tell me he wasn't coming.
I mean, he's never on time. This is like right in his wheelhouse right
wow,
now.
that's mean.
I'm not being mean. I'm being factual.
He's going to listen to the podcast and be like, oh, well.
I'm never on time because he doesn't know that?
I don't think
How many times did he come in here, sat down, and said, sorry, I'm late?
Well, you make it sound like it's like, a half hour late.
I'm not like keeping track, marking him tardy.
I don't know. It sounds like you are.
I'm just glad he shows up.
Hello, Nico Darunia. Kid or grown-up RMC. What does that mean? What do we talk about, kid or grown up? But always grown up. I don't like kids. All right, let's do some new. Oh, no, there was something else I want to talk about. Hello, Josh Luigi. It's about something that came up yesterday that a friend of the site, Colma, sent us.
Oh, yeah. How'd your poll go?
That's where I'm going to it right now. So if you're listening to the podcast, you're going to want to check this out on your computer, obviously, or your phone, because it has pictures related to it. We did a poll on it. But yesterday, he sent us a story about Super Mario 64. And someone had taken it. Hello, Eric. Eric says, this is my first podcast, and I'm staying. Thank you, Eric. You're going to regret that. So it's a screenshot of Super Mario 64. And it's a part of the castle that we've all run through when we played. And it's got a picture of, or a painting on the wall of like a cloudscape with stars in the sky. And 3 particular stars are much brighter than all the other ones. And that set of 3 stars is repeated twice. I mean, there's other things in the image that are repeated twice, but these in particular are repeated twice and are in line with each other. And if you look at the image and you compare it to the Song of Storms in Ocarina of Time, it looks like it is a reference to Ocarina of Time. Now, Super Mario 64 and The Legend of Zelda Ocarina of Time were in development at the same time. Obviously, Super Mario 64 came out first, and it's not. I mean, it's not hard to believe that they would have referenced the game like that with an Easter egg that wouldn't even make any sense until Ocarina of Time came out. They've done stuff like that before, but hello Massimo. The comparison is the spacing between the first and the second note is too big, but where they are actually on the scale is correct. But the second and third note match up correctly. So we have the fact that the notes are in the right places. We have the fact that these stars are the only 3 that are bright in the sky, like very, very bright. We have the fact that the 3 are repeated twice, which is, how you play songs in Ocarina of Time. So I was like, man, this is great. This is really cool. And I posted about it, and some people are like, oh, my God, I can't believe I never saw this. And other people are like, no, that's just a coincidence. And I was like, really? You think it's a coincidence with all those like little things lining up with that? The spacing between the first and the second note is the only thing I take issue with. But it's not a big enough deal for me to be like, no, this is a coincidence. I think there's more evidence. Not evidence. I think there's more things to look at that show that this is a reference and not just a coincidence. Hello, Al Delmar and Moose Deer. Great name. And the Namekian Clown.
They'd be so early in the development. Did you already say this?
I don't know where you're going.
They'd be so early in the development of
Ocarina of Time.
Ocarina of Time that like it's possible that like that was how it was then, and they just tweaked it.
Spacing, yeah, it's not like you can update games back then. Yeah. Who knows? So based on that reaction, I put out a Twitter poll to see if you guys thought it was an Easter egg or if you thought it was just a coincidence. And we are at 1,200 votes right now. It's still over on Twitter. I think I pinned it. I'm pretty sure I pinned it. So if you want to vote, go right ahead. But here's where we are right now. 49% of people who voted in the poll say it's an Easter egg. So 51% say it's a coincidence. So the audience is very clearly split on this. When I woke up today, I checked the poll, and it was at 50-50. Now we're at 49-51. So get in there and vote. I'm team Easter egg. I think there's just too much going for it to not be an Easter egg. But Namekian Clown says, what's an Easter egg? Well, an Easter egg is a secret. And why is it called an Easter egg? I don't know.
Because it's hidden, like Easter eggs are hidden.
Oh my God. I never made that connect. Did you see the thread on Reddit yesterday? The thread on Reddit was like, what was the most recent thing where you put 2 and 2 together? And people were saying all kinds of stuff, and I was like, oh my God, I can't believe people never made that connection. I have never made that connection with Easter egg. I had no idea why it was called that. That's terrible.
Well,
Samichi says, hi, first time I caught you guys alive. Love the podcast. Bored? Well, thanks for joining us. Man, it makes so much sense. So yeah, I'm team Easter egg, but the poll has 7 hours left in it. We'll see what happens. But if you think it's a coincidence, please feel free to tell me in the chat right now why you think so. Because I just don't see that. All right, let's do some Nintendo news. I don't know if you guys know this, but E3 went on this week. Hello, main event boxing. Main event boxing talk. Sorry about that. Do you talk about boxing on your channel? My dad is a huge boxing fan. Hello, Metroid. Metroid says it's a coincidence. All right. We're doing Nintendo news. It was E3 this week. I can't remember an E3 that was so busy. I always dread covering E3 because there's Nicky Hill is working. He will be here next week, Moose. I promise. That's what he told me. E3 is always busy. I always dread covering E3. I like watching it as a fan, but there's just so much work to do. It's unbelievable. And it seems the new trend is E3 starting earlier and earlier every year. So technically the show floor opened on Tuesday, but the first coverage of E3 related stuff started on Saturday. And that's why we did the podcast Friday last week, because Saturday Nintendo had 3 tournaments today: the Super Mario Maker 2 tournament, the Splatoon 2 tournament, and Smash Brothers Ultimate tournament. So we had to cover all that. And that was like the kickoff. So Saturday wasn't too bad. Sunday, there were important press conferences on Sunday. I just don't remember. Was Microsoft on Sunday? It doesn't matter. But yeah, so coverage really started Saturday. So Saturday, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. And hello, Tess. I can tell you without a doubt, Wednesday was the worst day for me. So that's day 2 of the show floor being open and the day after Nintendo's press conference. I don't know what, like, Tuesday is the day when Nintendo does their direct, and then there's like a whole bunch of assets that are released, and it's like pouring through assets and collecting all of them in galleries and blah, all that stuff. It's terrible and monotonous, but it took me like 3 hours just to get through all the assets that Nintendo uploaded. And that day was busy the entire day. Like it was, nonstop, which is to be expected because the direct just happened. But the day after, Wednesday, was nuts. Tuesday morning, I went to bed, or no, I guess Wednesday morning, I went to bed at 7. I got up at 11 to start covering again. And Mom Brain can vouch. My first break on that day was Wednesday night at 11:30 p.m. I was at the computer for 12 and a half hours straight. No breaks. Well, I peed. But other than that, the news just would not stop. It was unbelievable. And I was like, man, years after the Wii U, where things were so quiet, you can see how strong the Switch is right now because there's just so much to talk about. It was crazy. So I am not a fan of covering E3. I'm excited about the news that comes out, but I wanted to say thank you to you guys because you certainly supported what we did this year. I don't have the official numbers because I haven't looked at them yet. I have some numbers. I haven't looked at the whole thing, but from everything that I'm seeing, this was our most popular year for E3 as far as coverage goes. It was like our Twitter account alone was hitting, it was like 1.6 million impressions a day. And that includes Friday where the show was over. That's nuts. We got so many more followers on Twitter. I thank you so much to everybody that joined us. I really, if you join for E3 and you leave afterwards, I completely understand. I totally get it. But for anybody that came to the site, anybody that followed on Twitter or Facebook, thank you so much. The support was honestly unbelievable. And also a good amount of you guys were nice enough to reach out and say, like, good luck, take it easy, make sure you get some rest, we're counting on you, blah, 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 all this stuff. So thank you. I really do appreciate all the kind words and sentiments and all that. Hello, Ala Wolf. It means a lot. So Yeah, it was a very, very, very busy week. I meant to look up how many posts I did in between the last week, but I forgot. One day there was like 160 posts. I know that. And that was in a 12-hour span. So there was plenty to talk about. We're going to go in and cover the biggest stories of E3. Hello, Roth. I wanted to say, somebody said something about me going to the bathroom. I saw they said, "Did I pee in the toilet?" Yeah, I didn't just pee at the no time to get up from the computer. I just got to pee here. I'll deal with this later. I went to the bathroom.
Real gross.
I calculated it. The bathroom is 15 steps away. I was like, I can do that. I can make that work. I can fit that in my schedule. All right. So first off, Microsoft put out their schedule of. They were saying, here's where you need to be for Xbox at E3 2019. And it was a rundown of all the different conferences. And people were trying to see if that list of conferences was just Xbox showing conferences, like the full calendar of conferences, or if they were telling fans in particular where to go to hear Microsoft-related content, because they included Nintendo's briefing on the list. And the debate went back and forth, but since the Direct aired, I think we know that, yes, Microsoft was telling their fans, go watch Nintendo's Direct because there was Nintendo or Xbox-related content during the Nintendo Direct. So we will get to that later, but I just wanted to point that out. Hello, Kirby.
Hey,
All right, you look so handsome. That's a great shirt.
Oh, thanks. Sorry, I'm late.
It's okay. It's okay. You, it's hot out there, right?
It's not too hot. It's like
Is it
80.
I think that's exactly what it is, but is it humid?
I don't, not really.
As long as it's
I was
not
pretty
humid,
comfortable on my round.
it's okay. I'll take dry heat over humidity.
Right.
No, me too.
We just started the news. Let me do news.
News.
So, first things first, I watched EA's conference at E3, which I knew was going to be pointless for Nintendo fans because I guessed at most they were going to show off FIFA stuff. And yes, that's what they did. They showed off FIFA or they didn't show it off. They said FIFA is coming to the Switch. That's all that they said. It was literally one line in their press conference. That was it. It's called FIFA 20 Legacy Edition, which basically means they might spruce up the menus a little bit, and it'll have a roster update so that, like players that don't play anymore, players that play for other teams this year, have their information changed or their stats changed in the game. Basically, it's a stat update. That's about it.
Legacy edition.
Yep. Legacy of garbage. FIFA 20 executive producer Aaron McHardy was asked if there was going to be any, new stuff in there. And he said, you're going to get a fresh look in Switch with kits and player lists and all of that. But you're not going to get any new features like Volta or any big new stuff. Well, all right. So Eurogamer interviewed this guy and they were like, so is that the end of your parody for games on for your FIFA games on Switch? Because it's been 2 years and now you're going Legacy Edition. And this guy says, I wouldn't say it's the end of parody necessarily for Switch. We don't know what the future holds. We're always trying to build Switch to the device, as we says, and make it the best we can with the power that's on the device that was given to us. And I think that philosophy will stay true. Where it goes in the future, we don't know. Yeah, I mean, we do know where it goes. It continues to go down. You pay less attention to it. EA's been so full of garbage when it comes to Nintendo platforms. They could pull the crap with Wii U because they could say, we go where the gamers go. And the gamers didn't go to Wii U. And before the Switch came out, they were like, well, we're there with FIFA on the Switch and we'll see how it does. And we go where the gamers go. Well, the gamers went to Switch. It's sold millions and millions. It's still selling really well. It's been the #1 system for the last 6 months.
But the thing is, they don't really go to Switch for sports games.
They don't go to Switch for anything. They have FIFA. They have Unravel.
Well, I'm saying gamers don't. They don't go to the Switch to play FIFA or Madden.
And that's that's the thing. I have
Stardew Valley
friends and cousins who play sports games and have Switch. And when Switch first came out, they bought FIFA on Switch. And they were like, oh, they didn't. It's like not all the stuff that's supposed to be in here.
I'm sure there is an audience. It's probably not big enough for EA to justify.
Yeah, the problem is EA has, I believe, trained Nintendo fans to know that if you're getting a sports game on a Nintendo platform from EA, it's not going to be the full-fledged game. Because then you have something like, it's not a sports game, obviously, but Mortal Kombat, where they went out of their way to say, this is minus, the graphics. This is the same version that all the other platforms are getting. And the game debuted at number 1. So people were ready to buy that. But yeah, with EA, hello, Robert. That's enough, Robert. I didn't have an epiphany, really. Mom brain said it, and then I realized that I had no idea why Easter eggs were called Easter eggs, as in, like, hidden Easter egg stuff. Content, like, DVD Easter eggs, game Easter eggs.
Wait, you didn't know they were called Easter eggs?
No, I knew they were called Easter eggs, but I didn't know why.
Because they're hidden.
Like,
wait, you didn't get that?
They're hidden, like, Easter.
I didn't know. I was saying there was a thread on Reddit yesterday about people that just put 2 and 2 together for like very basic things, and I was reading, and I was like, how do these people not know this stuff? And it happens to me today. I had no idea.
It's okay. I mean, for the longest time, I didn't know that the owl in the Tootsie Pop commercials was saying, to who? Because he's an owl.
That, I think, is okay. More forgivable than me not knowing why it's called Easter eggs. Top rated comment comes from Weird, and he says, garbage company. What nonsense. I wouldn't mind what they did if they just wouldn't do the double speak stuff. Don't tell us you're going to support if the system sells, and then don't. Yoshiller, why'd you do that? All right, so E3 happened.
Calling out Yoshiller.
He made something a top story. I thought I wouldn't make a top story. All right, so E3 happened. Let's talk about what Nintendo did at E3. They revealed more DLC fighters for Smash Brothers. So the hero from Dragon Quest is coming to Smash Brothers, but it's not just one hero. It's like multiple Dragon Quest game heroes. So the hero from 8 and the hero from, I don't know,
but
6.
They're all just called the hero?
Yeah, the protagonist is always like a silent character, and he's just called the hero.
Because you named them yourself. Right?
I believe so, okay. Yes.
I've never played a Dragon Quest game. If you can't tell.
Well, I thought I muted my phone.
You always say that.
I started playing them on the DS.
Oh yeah, I think I remember that.
And
you needed to review one. I'm
a fan now. Hello, sweet Sukaban. Yeah, I'm a fan now. They're a lot of fun. They're very cool. And this one's going to be my first. Be my second like fully 3D one.
Oh, okay.
But you can play this one 2D. They have the whole game can be played like real old school, like 16-bit Dragon Quest style.
Oh, okay.
Which is really awesome. And you can switch it, like you don't make the decision in the beginning of the game. You can switch it as you're playing. You go to a specific, like there's a specific building that's all throughout the game that you can go into and say like, I want to switch it to 16-bit, and that happens.
So when you play in 2D, that's when you have like the POV during battles and stuff. Or does that
it's like it goes to very old school, the black and white text boxes, and then the strip of first person view of the enemies you'd be seeing. Plus the game also has 2 soundtracks, a MIDI soundtrack for classic and an orchestrated soundtrack. So they announced that. They also announced one of my favorite announcements of E3. Banjo-Kazooie. The rumor is true. Banjo and Kazooie are going to be in Smash Brothers Ultimate. The bird and the bear are back, and they're going to be playable, and they're coming out fall, and I couldn't be more excited about that. I heard the rumors. I really wanted it to be true. I didn't know if it was going to happen. I didn't know if Nintendo and Microsoft could pull it off together, but they did. It's happening. I still can't believe it. It's crazy to me. Let's see what else we got here. Another long-standing rumor was confirmed. Witcher 3 Wild Hunt Complete Edition is coming to the Switch, and I'll be damned if it doesn't look pretty impressive. Digital Foundry, the guys who are part of Eurogamer, did their analysis of the debut trailer for the Switch version, as well as the analysis of the screenshots, and they were saying, man, there's some technical wizardry going on here because this is pretty damn impressive for what's going on. It looks good. So if you haven't played Witcher 3, or if you've wanted to play Witcher 3 portable and take the game with you everywhere you go, this is going to be the way to go. It's coming out later this year. I don't think it has an official release date other than 2019, but we know it's coming out this year. Also announced, Mom Brain. Oh, you too, Kirby.
Mm-hmm.
The Dark Crystal, Age of Resistance Tactics. So the new Dark Crystal is coming to Netflix,
right? And
Netflix is working with another developer to bring a brand new game to the Switch, and it's a strategy type game starring characters from the new Netflix series. Hello, Laxter, and thank you.
Yeah, my little sister's really excited about the Netflix.
Did you watch the trailer for it?
I did.
It's amazing to me.
At first all I saw were like screenshots, and I wasn't sure if they were like, I don't know, maybe it was because they were like kind of dark looking, like literally dark, and I was like, is this CG or are these these
Yeah.
But then I saw the trailer and I'm like,
the way the trailer's shot and like the mix of the real puppets and like the set design is amazing, and there is CG in there too for stuff.
oh yeah, but at first I thought like the screenshots were like entirely CG,
and
I would have been okay with
the soundtrack too. Like everything about that trailer, I was so impressed with it. I was like, wow, they're really going all out on it. So I'm excited for that. And I hopefully the series is good because it'll make me more interested in playing the game. I don't usually play strategy games, but I do like the Dark Crystal, so I'm conflicted. Also announced was Contra Rogue Core for Switch, coming from, yes, Konami. They're still making games instead of just doing pachinko machines. But they're making some changes that I don't know. I'll have to play it before I can form a final opinion.
What kind of game is it? Like a?
It's a shooter, but it's not.
It is like a Contra game.
Yeah, but it's they're making it a twin stick shooter, which is fine. It's fine.
I guess.
But the problem is, hello, did I miss somebody? Hello, Chad. Thanks for joining us. They have a mechanic where you never run out of bullets, which is just like the other Contra games, but every gun you have overheats. And I don't know why they're doing that. So you have to Contra's about shooting all the time. Like hold the button down and just shoot.
Yeah, imagine like if your gun overheated in like the original Contra games. Like, you would never be able to like get anywhere.
So they're all about like forcing you to like dodge and take cover and switch to like your sub grenades and all that stuff while your weapon cools down. I don't know.
Take cover. It's one of those games.
Well, I mean, he took cover in Contra game, the original Contra games. I'm not talking about like Gears of War cover where you go run behind a wall, but no, just hide behind things. And the game itself looked rough. Like it looked rough, and it's coming out in like 3 months or something. I don't know. But the guy, like, I think the producer on it, I believe, is the producer of like the last handful of Contra games, including like good ones like the Alien Wars on Super Nintendo and Hardcore on Genesis, and it definitely looked rough. Like I don't know. And hands-on impressions have not been too good. It's coming out on Switch and PS4, and I'm not sure if it's coming out on Xbox One. But yeah, the impressions, I believe, were from the PS4 version, and people were like, I don't know.
Maybe they ran out of money.
Really, I just, Konami doesn't make new games.
Oh, that's right, it's Konami.
Konami puts out like compilations of games now and makes pachinko machines. Like other than Pro Evolution Soccer, which is yearly,
they put out compilations of games that they barely put any work into.
I know. So this is like their first like fully new game in a considerable amount of time, and I'm like, I don't know. We'll see what happens. Maybe it'll get spruced up before launch, but it's Konami, so I doubt it. Trials of Mana was announced by Square Enix. They actually showed. Man, E3 week is such a blur. Yeah, they showed Trials of Mana at their press conference. Square Enix did, and then oh no, they didn't.
Or did they?
No, they didn't. I don't remember. Whatever. Trials of Mana has come to the Switch. Also, they launched the collection of Mana on Switch right now. You can get the original 3 Mana games on Switch if you'd like, with fancy borders and some other details in there. Did I say hi to Eric? Hi, Eric. There were a couple like stealth drops of games during E3, which I always appreciate. What else do we got here?
How are you?
We saw more of Pokemon Sword and Shield, which has a feature that are making. It's not a feature, real. Oh, I don't know how you want to say it, but this is going to be the first mainline Pokemon game where not every Pokemon is in it.
How do you think they feel about that? The ones who aren't.
I mean, some of them are probably still waiting for the call to find out if they're in it, because Pokemon Company is like, the Switch lets us do such highly detailed animations and visuals that it takes more time to do stuff. Plus, we got to keep the game balanced, so we're not going to put all the Pokemon in there. And fans are livid. Think about that. You've been playing Pokemon games all your life. All the mainline games have all the Pokemon in them, and it's going to be the first one that doesn't.
Like when you have a birthday party, your mom makes you invite everyone, or you're not allowed to invite anyone.
Like, say your Pokemon is Mr. Mime. He's your favorite. It's your favorite Pokemon, and Mr. Mime's not going to be in Pokemon Sword and Shield. I don't know. Maybe Mr. Mime will be, but what if that happens? You're like, oh, well, I'm out. That's a no from me, dog. So yeah, I to be completely honest, no, I think it is understandable that they would have to hit a moment in time where they simply can't include every Pokemon and keep things balanced. You can't be at the point where you have like 5,000 Pokemon and somebody has to, a team of people has to create every single one, include it in the game, have the gameplay balanced and account for all that. The years continue on. There's going to have to be a point where you can't do that. So that point, no matter when it happens, is going to make fans angry. I understand the anger, but realistically, it has to happen, right? That's not crazy to say, is it? I understand fans not liking it, but I think it has to happen at some point. So they're biting the bullet now. I don't know. So yes, people aren't happy about that. We also saw a lot more for Luigi's Mansion 3, which is looking so good. I just watched the intro. Our friends at Game Explain today shared the opening cinematic. Oh my god. The opening cinematic, in my opinion, is like it so perfectly encapsulates Nintendo, and I mean that as a compliment. And I know they're working with Next Level Games on Luigi's Mansion 3, as they did with Dark Moon. But there's just something about the intro that is like so endearing and wholesome. I just love it. It's Mario and Peach, Buckenberry and Ala Gold, just your regular old Toad who's driving the bus, and Luigi on a bus to vacation, and they're going to a hotel. And Luigi's got
Hotel Mario?
No, dear God, no. Luigi's got his suitcase with him that's got his ghost pup in it from the previous game. So it's just them. It's like Mario, and you should watch it on your laptop.
I watched it with you.
You were in the room?
You showed it to me when I came home.
What?
Yeah.
No. This came out today.
Oh.
The opening cinematic for the game, not like the trailer. It's just, it's so endearing.
Luigi's Mansion.
Just go to youtube.com.
www.youtube/user/GameExplain.
GameExplain. Oh, she chugs. She limping.
Jeez.
Might be time for a new Chromebook. Go to videos. What are you looking at me weird for? I say it's time for a new one. You're like, no. Yeah. There you go. Second one. You enjoyed that. It's tell me if you feel the way that I feel. I really enjoyed it. So we saw a lot more about that game, and we saw that Luigi is a much bigger part of this Luigi's Mansion experience. You can now...
Is that a gooey Luigi?
It is a gooey Luigi,
Nice.
yes. And if you want to know, Nintendo says they do believe he's edible. There's an interview where someone at Nintendo said that. So yeah, Luigi has abilities that regular Luigi doesn't have, like being able to pass through like bars because he's goo, like Terminator style. And he can walk on spikes without being hurt, stuff like that.
Metal.
So you like when you're playing, you can like put Luigi in a trance basically, and Luigi takes over and you control him. Or if you have a friend, you can do local co-op, and one plays as Luigi and one plays as Luigi. I love that Buckenberry and Ala Gold are sitting together. It makes me very happy. So there's that. We also saw more of The Legend of Zelda Link's Awakening, which is coming out later this year. And we learned about a new feature in the game. You're going to be able to collect dungeon rooms for use in the chamber dungeon section. The chamber dungeon lets you basically build out your own dungeon in The Legend of Zelda. So you have like tiles basically, and tiles are like, here's a room with blocks to push and 2 skeletons, and here's a room with a whole bunch keys, and here's a room with a couple treasure chests, and you can rearrange them in a different pattern and play them, or have friends play them and do speed runs through them, which is a pretty cool idea. So they're adding a whole new thing in there that wasn't in the original. Link's Awakening comes out on Switch September 20th, 2019. Fans had their dream come true because Nintendo finally showed in considerable detail Animal Crossing New Horizons, which is, yes, coming to the Switch, but no, not coming out this year. They were originally planning it for this year, but it is now coming out March 20th, 2020. And Nintendo did apologize, but they said they need some more time. They want to make sure they make it the best game it can be, and they're not afraid to delay games to do that. They've done it before, so they did apologize, but at least it's first quarter 2020 and not like much later in the year. So I mean, it is what it is, but people seem to be very excited about that Animal Crossing. It looks really good to me. Did it look good to you?
Yeah.
You're on an island. You're on a deserted island. You can now decorate the whole place. You don't just decorate inside your house. You decorate everywhere. So if you have stuff you want to put on the island anywhere, you can do that. And also, when you move into the island as part of, like, I want to say it's a contest. I don't remember. But 2 other characters are there with you. And you can pick where you want to set up your tent, because you start off in a tent this time. And if you want to keep a tent you can live in a tent forever if you want to, they said. But also the other characters, when you go to the island, will say, hey, I'm going to set up my tent here. Is that okay? And you can say no and put them wherever you want. So you move them like to a corner of the island by themselves. But because I know some people in a lot of Animal Crossing players will have certain characters that they absolutely hate. So they're going to want to stick them somewhere where they don't have to see them or deal with them. And hopefully they'll move away later on. What else we got? Oh, yeah, I should say this. A Link's Awakening amiibo was announced. It's Link in the style of Link in the new Link's Awakening. So it's like very cutesy, cartoony, like it's got a little bit of like old like Popeye style look to it, like you know, the ovular dark black eyes, and very like rudimentary facial features. It's a really cool looking amiibo that comes out later this year too. We got another look at Marvel Ultimate Alliance 3, The Black Order, that comes out July 19th, so it's right around the corner. We got another detailed look at Fire Emblem Three Houses, which has not been delayed. It's still on track for July 26th. We saw more footage of Astral Chain. Please don't let Astral Chain die. It looks so good. So good. And poor Platinum Games always seems to make fantastic games that just don't get an audience, and I don't know why that is. They have Bayonetta, which is by far their biggest, but even then, it's not like huge. It's a million seller, but it's not like a million seller on par with other, like a God of War or a Zelda or a Mario or Gears of War or anything like that. So Astral Chain looks so good to me. It looks so cool. And I don't know if I wasn't paying attention or if this was just revealed for this at E3 this year, but it's like not just action stuff. You're part of the police force, which we knew, but you also like investigate crimes and stuff too. So there's like investigation work to do. God, the game looks so cool to me. They said, what did they say? Oh, they said they're labeling the game as a cross between Bayonetta and Nier. They're saying it's like those two. It's basically, if those two games had a baby, that's what they feel Astral Chain is. If you have been ignoring that one, watch some footage. It looks so cool. Soundtrack sounds amazing. Hello, Jumpman. That is due out August 30th. Another fantastic looking game, Daemon Ex Machina, which we've played demos for and talked about numerous times over the years, or over the past year. We got another really good look at that. We also found out that there's going to be a player versus player multiplayer added to the game after launch. This game comes out September 13th. Cadence of Hyrule was shown and got its surprise launch. It was launched on June 13th, so during E3 they launched it. We got another good look at Dragon Quest XI Echoes of an Elusive Age. This is the revamped version of Dragon Quest XI with lots and lots and lots of changes and tweaks and additions over the previous version. There's all kinds of different stuff in there this time. And we got a release date for that. That's coming out September 27th. Dragon Quest Builders 2 was reconfirmed for June 27th. No, that's a lie. Demo is coming out June 27th. Full game is out July 12th. We're going to talk about The Witcher. We saw Mario and Sonic at the Olympic Games Tokyo 2020, which we knew was coming. I don't know if I made this a top story, so I'm going to talk about it now. So, I think I mentioned it to you. I think I might have mentioned it to both of you. People saw the surfing event in the game, and Mario is barefoot for the surfing event. Did I mention this to you?
I don't think so.
Sonic is not barefoot.
Oh, wait, yeah, you did.
And people were like, why can't Sonic take his shoes off for surfing? And Sega's response was something along the lines of, like, Sonic never takes his shoes off in canon. So they're like, listen.
Except in the cartoon.
Well, I guess that's not canon then, because
they
take it very seriously. Sonic canon is he never takes his shoes off ever. Hello, Silver Lunar. I don't to think that Sega has like a Sonic Bible somewhere, and in there it says like Sonic never takes his shoes off. Like, why is that a decision at one point? I don't understand.
Yeah,
why? Because he won't be fast if he takes his shoes off.
Of all the decisions they've made with Sonic,
yeah,
right. I think, yeah,
whatever.
Him taking off his shoes, I don't see the problem.
And also Sega's doing their other regular Olympics game as well. So there's the Sonic and Mario flavored Olympic games, and then a more traditional Olympic style game. I do want to point out, as I said, Sonic and Mario are seen surfing in this Olympic game. And if you didn't know, 2020, the Tokyo Olympics, will be the first time that surfing is an official event in the Olympics. It joins other first-time sports, skateboarding, karate, and sport climbing, which I'm excited to see all of them, but sport climbing should be really interesting. They're breaking it down into 3 things. It was like speed climbing, and I don't know what the other 2 are. What else do you do? Like, how else, if it's not speed, what do you do? You judge technique or something? Maybe it's like tandem climbing? I don't know. But yeah, so we will be playing those, and they're the first time at the Olympics as well. We talked about that. We talked about that. We talked about that. We talked about that. Oh, yes. Oh, yes. We got it, guys. We did it. It happened. No More Heroes 3 was officially revealed. The next main... There's no Gene in the trailer, but that doesn't mean Gene's... Oh, you know what? I didn't look closely enough in the extended trailer. Maybe Gene is there. But yes, No More Heroes 3. This isn't a spin-off. This is the next main entry in a No More Heroes franchise. It is coming to Switch in 2020. And Suda51 is ridiculously excited about it. And he said, listen, this is the game that fans want. He said, I am listening to what fans want. He said, I have the story. I have the little like minutia that I'm working on right now, but I have the overarching story. So I know what I'm doing there. But he's like, as far as like some gameplay elements go, just fans tell me what you want. He's like, do you want the open world to return? Do you want something more like the smaller spot and the first No More Heroes? The assassin battles and all that stuff. All we know for sure is Travis has the death glove from Travis Strikes Again, and he's using it to transform into like some sort of like, it's like kind of like a Power Ranger character. And Earth is being invaded, or wherever No More Heroes takes place, is being invaded by aliens, and Travis has to stop the aliens. So they put out the trailer in the Nintendo Direct as a surprise, but afterwards Suda released the unedited, uncensored trailer, which has cursing and blood, and it gives a much longer look at the whole game. Yes, the uncensored version of the trailer is called the F-Head trailer because Travis is known for calling people F-Head in the games. So I'm very excited about that. Fans are very excited. And he said he's making it his mission to utilize all the cool features of the Switch. He's like, the Switch does a whole bunch of different things, and I'm definitely going to use them all. But if you don't like using those features, don't worry, because you won't have to. He said, if you want to play the whole game with just traditional controls, you can do that. But for those who want to go back to how it was on the Wii, which is what I want, that will be in there. He said you're going to use motion controls for the wrestling moves that you do. You use motion controls, obviously, to recharge your controller, or to recharge your beam katana, I mean. There's going to be other stuff in there, too. He's going to use HD Rumble, I'm sure. Basically, he made the point to say, I'm going to use everything that the Switch can do. But you don't need to swing your arms around if you don't want to. Empire of Sin is coming to the Switch. It puts you at the heart of the ruthless criminal underworld of the 1920s Prohibition-era Chicago. This is made by, I want to point this out, this is made by Romero Games. That is the John Romero, the co-founder of ID and the creator of Doom. This is a new game from his company. That's right. And his wife, I believe this is her game idea. And he said this is a game she's been wanting to make for like the last 20 years. So they're finally getting around to it. But yeah, I just want to point out that Romero Games is behind it. Panzer Dragoon is getting a remake for Switch. It is true to the original, but with improved graphics and controls that suit the modern gaming standards. Resident Evil 5 and Resident Evil 6 were announced for the Switch, if you like those. Man, 6 is so bad. I'm sorry, but I think 6 is so bad. 5, I never played solo. I played all the way through. I played it with Dew. We played it online together. That, yeah. And we had fun, but I remember it being, I remember saying like I wouldn't play this if I wasn't playing co-op.
I played it solo, and it can be annoying because your AI partner is always like using up your ammo. I don't. But like I've said before, I love playing the Mercenaries in Resident Evil 5.
I'm probably going to get Resident Evil 5 on Switch so I can play Mercenaries again. I love that mode. What else was shown? Dead by Daylight, Stranger Things 3, Spyro Reignited Trilogy. Didn't somebody say that Spyro Reignited Trilogy was coming to the Switch?
Was it you?
It was me, yes. We had... hello, Lady Seti. Thank you for watching all the time. Lady Seti says they watch all the time, Omri. Yes, before last week's show, I think it was, I said, we have inside information from a source that I can certainly trust, and they told me two things.
One, I'm beautiful.
Thing number one, 2. Spyro Reignited Trilogy is coming to the Switch on September 3rd. Well, during E3, we got confirmation that Spyro Reignited Trilogy is coming to the Switch September 3rd. So that's 1 for 2 so far. The second thing that they told me, which I shared with everyone, was Spyro's going to be playable in Crash Team Racing Nitro Fueled.
What?
Well, during E3, Activision confirmed that Spyro is going to be playable in Crash Team Racing Nitro Fueled. I told you that information was going to be true, and it was true. When I personally am the source of a rumor, I make sure if I'm sharing it, you can be sure that I have checked it in a million different ways before I bring it to you guys. Tom says ARMC is too reliable for my taste. I'm sorry. That's why I bring you the rumors from other sources too, because I want to mix it up a bit. So thank you again to my source for telling me that information. And man, I caught some hell for it on Reddit before E3. People saying, "Oh, he's just stirring up clicks for before E3." But those of you who read GoNintendo and listen to this podcast, no, that's not what I do. But anyway, it was confirmed. So it is coming out September 3rd. Also confirmed, which surprises no one, Just Dance 2020, which is coming to the Switch.
20.
Just Dance 2020, which is coming to the Switch. And Wii.
Wow.
The Wii.
Really? Okay.
Yeah, Ubisoft. Every single Just Dance game has come out on the Wii. Because Just Dance started with the Wii.
That's true.
And every year since then, they've put out a Just Dance. And every year since then, they've put it out on Wii.
I mean, I guess I can appreciate that commitment.
Well, they're putting it out there because it still sells. Like I said on the site, a lot of people bought the Wii as their Wii Sports machine. They just played Wii Sports for the expanded audience. And they also played Just Dance. Just Dance was like a very, very, very huge thing for the Wii. And now people, since Just Dance is a yearly installment, I would think that a lot of those expanded audience people who really enjoyed Just Dance have never bought another video game system. So they're just buying the new Just Dance on Wii. And that's why it's coming out. Minecraft Dungeons is coming to the Switch, which is a 4-player local or online dungeon crawler, Minecraft style. I'm very excited for it, actually. New Super Lucky's Tale is coming to the Switch, which was actually a tie-in with Microsoft. It's like a cutesy platformer. This is fantastic. Kirby, did you play Ninokuni, the original Ninokuni?
No, I've never played any of the Ninokuni games.
Ninokuni, the first game, is coming to the Switch. Ninokuni Wrath of the White Witch is coming to Switch. Man, it's a great game.
Yeah,
I love that game.
I've been interested to try it.
So yes, this is a remake with some slight changes to the original. But yeah, if you haven't played that game, this is coming from someone who really doesn't play RPGs. It's a fantastic game. I had a lot of fun. Amazing soundtrack too, and plenty of like animated cutscenes and like hand drawn cutscenes, not like CG stuff. It feels like a Studio Ghibli movie come to life. Like it's a lot of fun. I can't recommend it enough. Catan is coming out June 20th. The Sinking City is coming out this fall. We also heard that Alien Isolation is getting a port to the Switch, and it will use gyroscopic aiming and HD rumble, which is not usually something you see for ports. So it's nice to see that Sega is doing at least a little bit of extra work with it. We got another look at Hollow Knight Silk Song, as well as Final Fantasy Crystal Chronicles Remastered Edition, which is coming out this winter. Another look at Dauntless and Wolfenstein Youngblood and Doom Eternal. The Elder Scrolls Blades was confirmed for Switch. So if you don't want to play Elder Scrolls Blades on your phone and want to play it with traditional controls, you will be able to do that for the Switch. And here's the best, well, it comes out this fall, but here's the best news. It's free. It's an Elder Scrolls game for free. And if you are playing on your phone and you'd like to also play on your Switch and go back and forth, you can do that because your profile transfers between the two. So you can continue progress on your phone when you're out and about, and then when you're home, you can play on TV, and your progress picks right back up. It's one account. Moose, we have the same two blue mics we've had for a very long time now. I've been using this blue mic right here.
You sound like a little kid YouTube channel. This one right here.
For a while, but the Snowball blue microphone over there, we've had, Jesus, since one of them died and I got a replacement, and that was so long ago when the sucker's still kicking. So I think that's it for what Nintendo talked about, showed, or mentioned in their Nintendo Direct. And the internet seemed to oh no, that's not it. How is this not mentioned? I must have missed it. Yeah, I must have missed it. Oh, here it is. The Direct. It's okay, Steel Diver. The Direct ended with a major surprise. A huge surprise. Nintendo confirmed that the Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild sequel is in development.
What?
And they showed footage. You see Link and Zelda, and it is a direct sequel. It takes place right after Breath of the Wild, it looks like. You see Link and Zelda in some weird cave, and they're walking through, and there's like there's this hand that's doing some kind of weird stuff to this
creepy
dead body, and the body is like kind of mummified, and this hand brings the body back to life basically, and it like stares at Link and Zelda, and it looks like something's going on with Link's hand. He I don't know, something damages his hand, or he gets new abilities with his hand or something. And then Castle Hyrule, the whole like plateau that it's on, lifts off into the air. And then that's the end of the trailer. It says sequel's in development. So we don't have a release date or anything, but it's coming. It's coming, baby. So that was a fantastic end to a fantastic E3 for Nintendo. I've obviously go around the internet a lot, and the reviews for Nintendo's E3 this year have been stellar. I've seen terms thrown around like a masterclass in E3 presentations, or Nintendo's E3 was the one to beat, or Nintendo's E3 was one of their best yet. So people seem to be really happy. I was extremely pleased with it. Lots of surprises and fun stuff, lots of fun segments. They did a great introduction with Doug Bowser, because we had our first direct presentation with Doug Bowser in it, now that Reggie's gone. And one of the other Nintendo developers comes out and he says he's going to introduce Bowser. And what they did was have Mario's Bowser walk out, and he's wearing like a tie, and he adjusts his tie because he thinks he's giving a direct presentation. But then Doug Bowser comes out and he's like, "No, it's me. You got it mixed up." And Bowser looks very upset and ends up leaving. So it was a very nice introduction for Doug Bowser, like to the larger Nintendo audience through Nintendo Direct. So it's great. It's great. Plus, I want to go. Well, we're at an hour already, so I'll see what other really important things there are, and I'll mention them quickly. But I want to point out that Nintendo at E3 every year does things that really show me or remind me, not that I need reminding, but they remind me why I love Nintendo, because it's not... There's a certain thing that they put not just into their games, but into like how they present things. It's a vibe that runs through Nintendo. So like they did a thing where they had Miyamoto and Tezuka sit down together to spin a little wheel that they made to talk about Super Mario Maker 2. And like they spin the wheel, and it was like I don't remember what the wheel said exactly, but it was something like, do a charade for your favorite character. Mr. Tezuka like gets up and starts throwing hammers like a Hammer Brother and jumping around trying to get Miyamoto to guess that he's being a Hammer Brother. And they also did another video where it was Doug Bowser and Bill Trinan, and I forget who else, but two other people at Nintendo who sit down to play Super Mario Maker 2 together, and Nintendo's Treehouse team made a special level for them to play. So it's 4 bigwigs at Nintendo sitting down to play a co-op game together. They also did a video showcasing this like giant sheet of paper that they had at their E3 booth, and they had the different developers sign it before they left the booth. So like Miyamoto signed it, and guys from Platinum signed it, and they drew like little pictures and everything. And now they have this just awesome like mural as a way to remember E3. All that little stuff, I really love that, because you don't see other companies do that. Nintendo just likes to have some fun with some of the stuff at E3, and I appreciate it. All right. I told you I'm going to mention other things quickly, very quickly. I can't even believe this is happening, to tell you the truth. Nintendo had said during E3 that they're going to put out an update for Super Mario Maker 2 that lets you play online with friends. Just a couple weeks ago, we learned that Super Mario Maker 2 lets you play online co-op, but not with friends. You have to play with strangers. And everybody's like, why the hell can't we play with friends? And it was a huge negative backlash. And at E3, Nintendo said, we're putting out an update so you can play online with friends. It's happening. That's fantastic news. They said they would like to get it out before the game comes out, but considering how the game comes out on the 27th, they don't have enough time, so they said they'll put it out after launch. And obviously that's going to be a free update, so that's fantastic news. Sean Snocta says, good on Nintendo for listening and reacting. I agree. I'm very shocked. I'm happy it's happening. Just would have never expected that it would happen. We had a story about how Microsoft and Nintendo worked it out to get, or how Microsoft and Nintendo worked things out so that Banjo and Kazooie could be in Smash Brothers. And basically, Microsoft was like, "Oh, they wanted them to be in there," and we were like, "Yeah, okay." Like Microsoft stressed the point of saying there's no like problem, there were no issues. Like they wanted it and we wanted it, and we were approached, and that was that. So it was very straightforward, which is awesome to hear. Mom Brain, we also heard about this. Perhaps you can back it up. Nintendo says that their female audience really likes seeing Luigi as the lead character in a game. How do you feel about Luigi as the lead character in a game?
I mean, I'm happy to see him living his best life, just thriving.
This information comes from Bill Trinan. He said that female audiences really respond well to seeing Luigi in the lead role. Philo says, like Loki, green outfit, popular but misunderstood, both having names that start with L.
And ladies like them.
Philo says it's close to a pattern for when you want to make a male character that appeals to women. There you go. You put him in green and start his name with L. That's all. That's all there's to it. Although Loki's
kind of a dick.
Yeah, Luigi is not a dick. Loki is kind of a dick. Yes, I will say they're both misunderstood, certainly, but Loki is a little bit mean.
Why the ladies like him.
Nintendo,'s
cool
Mr. Al Newman talked about Breath of the Wild in relation to Majora's Mask, because obviously it's been quite some time since we've seen a direct sequel to a Zelda game. And he wants you to know that Majora's Mask isn't tied to the game. He says the new Breath of the Wild or the sequel to it, it's not necessarily going to be related to Majora's Mask or inspired by it. What we showed you currently is a little darker. So Majora's Mask was a darker game. Not visually, like in tone. Mm-hmm. And this game certainly looks in tone to be a bit darker. And also, it's using the same engine as Breath of the Wild, and it's being developed quickly after Breath of the Wild. So a lot of people are like, oh, it's like a Majora's Mask situation. So Mr. Al Newman just wanted to clear up that conversation. Who knows where we're going to see more in this game. Spelda says, damn, it's going to be even darker than Majora's Mask. But I don't know why it would even be related or inspired by Majora's Mask. As far as we could tell, the main antagonist will be a reincarnation of Ganondorf, and he was not present at all in Majora's Mask. Also, Majora didn't even take place in Hyrule. That is correct. It took place in Termina. But yeah, we do see Hyrule Castle lifting off at the end of this trailer. So for all we know, this game will take place somewhere different as well. Or maybe they'll do another Dark World style thing, and like you'll transport to an alternate Hyrule where things are all kinds of weird, like Low Rule in Link Between Worlds. No, we're not doing that. Mm-hmm. We already talked about that.
Okay.
Very quickly, Animal Crossing New Horizons doesn't lock hairstyle or facial features to gender. So no matter what gender you pick for yourself in the game, of which there is boy or girl, you can choose any facial feature or hairstyle. There's no hairstyles.
I am boy. I am girl.
There's no hairstyles that you can only have if you're a girl. There's no facial features that you can only have if you're a boy. So basically, Nintendo said, whatever you feel like that day, that's what you can do. We also did a post about concept art from the original Breath of the Wild that certainly seems like it tells us a little bit more about what's going on in this sequel. So Nintendo held a GDC conference, a GDC panel a couple of years ago, and they showed off concept art for Breath of the Wild. And in one piece of concept art, we see that Link is missing his hand, basically. And in the other piece of the art, we see that he's gotten some sort of ability that lets him transform his one arm / hand into different things. He can transform it into a bomb shooting gun, a mallet, a bow and arrow, a hook shot, some sort of like clawed creature. So that fits in really, really well with what goes on in this debut trailer. So, I mean, it looks like Nintendo liked that concept enough to go with it. Moshigan says, cool find. They probably didn't know that they were going to use those ideas in a sequel when they showed them off. I wonder if the UFOs make the cut as well. Yes, Nintendo also had concept art where there were UFOs in Breath of the Wild. And that, with Hyrule Castle being lifted up into the sky, maybe it's being sucked up by a UFO. I don't know. It's possible. No. Mr. Al Newman talked about why he's returning to Breath of the Wild for a direct sequel. He says, one of the reasons we wanted to create a continuation was because I wanted to revisit Hyrule again, and use that world again while incorporating new gameplay and new story. And he says, we're not rushing development. So Majora's Mask was created within a year, and it was a real crunch. And people are like, is that going to happen with this one? And he says, when I was making Majora's Mask, the timeline was in a year. I was a little stubborn, and I was going to make it from scratch, and I was really gung-ho. But it turns out that the staff was a little tired from that process. I've learned to give myself plenty of time. You don't want to do it that way, or else you'll get white hair like me. So he says, no, I'm not stressing everybody out. It'll take the time that it takes. So
That's
Sean Snocta says, it might take a little time, but this game will still arrive before Metroid Prime 4. That's possible. Could be. People were worried about Bayonetta 3 because it wasn't at E3, and Platinum said, shut up. Platinum Game Studio head Atsushi Inaba says, development on Bayonetta 3 is actually going quite well. Games aren't usually done in a year or two. It takes a while. That's all. Things are going well, and I know a lot of people are asking for it. Giving updates for everything at E3 isn't the smartest PR strategy to begin with. So just because we're not showing it here doesn't mean it doesn't mean it's not going well. It's going to be a high quality title, and we're putting our all into it. That is what you're seeing with the silence. So he says, we're being quiet because we're working on the game. Leave us alone. So all is well with Bayonetta 3. Don't worry. Destructo94 says, hopefully we see it at the Game Awards. Not seeing it as well as Retro's game were the biggest disappointments of Nintendo's overall pretty decent E3, in my opinion. A pretty decent E3. Moving on. Lots of people are saying Zelda's going to be playable in Breath of the Wild 2, or there will be
that would make the female audience happy.
Or there will be co-op with Zelda in Breath of the Wild 2 because of how the trailer, whatever. And Al Newman was asked about this, and he says, a lot of people have been asking that. And so I want to ask you, why do people think that? So it's explained to him that, like, well, all right, so it comes from a Kotaku interview, and the Kotaku reporter says, well, it seems like it makes sense because at the end of Breath of the Wild, Zelda was freed, so now she can be the protagonist. Also, I think people have wanted it for a long time, and Al Newman says, I see, but I can't tell. That's what he said. So I don't know if he's playing coy, and he's like, yeah, you can play as her, or he's just like, oh, I get why you people want that now, but it's not happening. TLK777 says, this teasing is unreal. I want to take this as evidence that she's probably playable, but who knows? This is the same guy who randomly asked a crowd if they wanted Skyward Sword for Switch when it probably doesn't exist. That's true. I do remember that. So it could be one of those instances. Speaking of that, the very next story is about Al Newman talking about Skyward Sword Remake. Because Game Informer's like, hey, you should do Skyward Sword for Switch, but without motion controls. No, that's wrong. Al Newman says, so you're saying control it with buttons? That's a little hard. I think it might be close to impossible. Yes, it would, because it's a game made for motion controls. The whole game was based around motion controls. Ah, you assholes. You heard me. I hope they do remake that game one day, and I hope it uses motion controls. Mock Turtle says, too bad Nintendo's current hardware doesn't support motion controls by the way of individual sticks a la the Wii. Oh, wait. Please give us Skyward Sword HD, Nintendo. Yeah, I mean, if there's going to be a system to remake it for, this would be the one. It has everything that you need, pretty much. Well, we don't have to do that.
Okay. You're the boss.
Little bit more about people wanting Zelda in co-op or Zelda playable. Al Newman says it's kind of interesting that you bring that up because in Breath of the Wild you see Zelda and Link together often. So to go straight into the thought of co-op is very interesting to me. What does it mean? I don't know. We're not doing that because I talked about it. If you're hoping Game Freak will add an update to Pokemon Sword and Shield to add in the other Pokemon that are not included at launch, they say they have not made a decision on that right now. So they're not saying yes and they're not saying no. They're just saying they don't have an answer. DT Foe has the top-rated comment, and they say, I was telling someone last night that I think Game Freak is being sincere when they say there's concerns over balancing an overall workload. Problem is that this is one of those cases where no answer, no matter how sympathetic, is going to placate a certain camp of fans. It's pragmaticism versus fanaticism. And while I do think criticism is valid and can get results, it can be a monkey's paw as well. Something might have to give in order to have all 800 plus Pokemon in a mainline Pokemon game. I figured home was a nice middle ground because not only is it a cloud storage and trading hub, but it can easily be the national Pokédex completionists want, while the game devs regain some flexibility. Well, not only was that a sensible comment, but it was also the top rated comment. So you guys agreed with that. That's lovely.
It was sensible and the internet agreed.
I know.
Great job, guys.
North America, digital downloads. We got Cadence of Hyrule. NES Switch Online NES collection was updated. We now have Double Dragon 2 with Bimmy and Jimmy. Volleyball and City Connection. Arcade Archive Solomon's Key. Citizens of Space. Cricket 19. Dead Dungeon. Demolition Crew. Enchanted in the Moonlight. Leisure Suit Larry, Wet Dreams Don't Dry. Platigo, Super Platform Maker. Nope, let me try that again. Platigo, Super Platform Game Maker. Please, don't touch anything. Classic. That's the name of the game. Pocket League Story got a demo. Radiation City, Rolling Gunner, Sea King, Soccer Pinball, Submerged, Them Bombs, Verlet Swing, Bolsaria, Lair of the Forgotten. World End Syndrome got a demo. 3DS got Pinball Breaker 2. And the Wii U got Scoop Around the World in 80 Spaces. Yes, you heard me right. The Wii U got a new game this week. So fire up your Wii U and get that bad boy. Europe. What did Europe get? They got Collection of Mana, Battle Worlds Chronos, Leisure Suit Larry, Wet Dreams Don't Dry, World End Syndrome, Cadence of Hyrule, Bullet Battle Evolution, The Last Remnant Remastered, Contra Anniversary Collection, Arcade Archives Puyon, Phantom Doctrine, Platigo, Radiation City, Dead Dungeon, Deer Drive Legends, Demolition Crew, Verlet Swing, Ostaria, Lair of the Forgotten, and demos for Pocket League Story, Them Bombs, and then your pre-orders and all that jazz. You know, if you were paying attention to what came out this week while all the E3 stuff was going on. Microsoft, oh my God, so much. Microsoft said they're interested in bringing, or seems interested in bringing games, Xbox Game Pass to the Switch. So Xbox Game Pass is you play you pay one flat fee and you get access to a whole bunch of games.
One fat fee.
And they add new games to it all the time. And Microsoft is looking to bring this to other places and platforms, and they are considering the Switch. They don't confirm it, but they say it'd make a lot of sense there, and blah, 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 blah. So It could happen. I'm sorry to blow through these so quickly, but we're pressed for time. Pokemon Sword and Shield is going to feature at least 71 new Pokemon based on some information that came out of E3. So there will be at least 71 new guys for you to check out, including the ones we know already. Like, I don't know. I don't remember their names. Score Bunny. Wooloo. Everybody's favorite. Wooloo. Yes, as I was saying to you earlier, Kirby, Nintendo wants you to know that Gooigi is edible. Kensuke Tanabe at Nintendo was asked, what is Gooigi made out of? Is it like Jell-O? Can you eat it? And Mr. Tanabe says, you're the second person to ask. You're the second person to ask if you can eat Gooigi. It's probably like gummies. So yeah, you could eat it. The actual backstory is that Professor E. Gadd extracted a bunch of energy out of the ghost that he captured, and then he accidentally spilled coffee on it, and that's how the goo was made. So it's ghost and coffee. You can eat that.
It's like lime-flavored coffee.
So you would like it.
Yeah.
So there you go. Now you can draw your weird Rule 34 images where somebody's eating Gooigi. Hinf says, eating makes sense.
Having sex.
Hinf has another question. He says, can one make love to Gooigi?
Anywhere you want, really.
I'll ask Nintendo that at my next interview. All right, here you go. Mr. Tanabe is just answering all kinds of crazy questions. He asks about, or he talks about how he'd like to see Luigi in more games. But then he's asked about how you feel about Waluigi. And he says, Waluigi is something that I'm not in charge of, so that's hard to say. Are you saying that Waluigi and Luigi should team up? He tends to appear in games where Wario appears. I guess we'd have to make a Waluigi Mansion then. I will gladly play a Waluigi Mansion. Then the interview gets way off course. And Game Informer says, I know we're off track, but since there is a Wario and a Waluigi, is there also a Wayoshi? Mr. Tanabe says, Yoshi himself is everything. So I don't know I don't know what that would be like. Maybe his eyes would be like meaner or something. Maybe he would eat stuff and then just spit it out entirely whole. Or would he be like Birdo because Birdo shoots eggs from her mouth? Is Birdo Wayoshi? Maybe. That's what he says.
Well, wait, Yoshi already had like an evil twin character. His name was like
Boshi.
Boshi,
yeah. You had your Wayoshi. It's Boshi. Gurgit says Boshi is not canon. Yes, we need a Waluigi game. Yes, an egg vomiting edgy Wayoshi would be fun. And yes, revive Wapeach. I think Gurgit is saying that I guess Nintendo doesn't consider Boshi canon because they didn't bring up Boshi here. But as far as I know, Boshi's canon. We just haven't seen Boshi again.
Just because they don't mention it doesn't mean it's not
like go Wart. Like, yeah, Wart's canon, but Wart, I guess, wasn't real. So.
Yeah. So where's Wart?
Is he good then? Well, Wart would be good.
Yes.
Wart. It's so dumb.
Yeah, kind of like Waluigi.
Oh, man. Mr. Rossetti, I'm sorry, my brain.
I know.
Mr. Rossetti's out of a job. He's not going to have his job in Animal Crossing New Horizons because Animal Crossing New Horizons has an autosave feature, so Mr. Rossetti doesn't need to be there. But fear not. It seems like the developers are teasing a future for Mr. Rossetti. They say, we also believe that Mr. Rossetti is looking for a new job after his layoff, so please look forward to that. So he'll be doing something and yelling at you for whatever, so don't feel too bad. He's gonna get something. Snail Person has the top-rated comment and says, that's okay. He still has his job announcing network maintenance updates at GoNintendo. Yeah, it's true. On GoNintendo, when there's Nintendo Network maintenance schedules, I always put in Mr. Rossetti because, it's like he's toiling away. He's got his pickaxe. He's digging. Man, that's great. Yeah, he's got a job. Don't worry. That's true. Former director of production.
You should make a formal offer to Nintendo. I'd like to employ Mr. Rossetti.
Yeah, right. The former director of production at Epic Games says he tried to cancel Fortnite before it came out, which would have been a terrible idea. This is Rod Ferguson, which sounds like a porn star name.
That is a great name.
He's working on Gears of War 5 right now. But he did work at Epic, and he said, if I stayed at Epic, I would have canceled Fortnite. Absolutely. Before I left, I tried to cancel Fortnite. When it was just Save the World, that was a project that had some challenges. As the director of production at the time, that game would not have passed my bar for something we should have continued to keep going. That game you love, the worldwide sensation, it would not exist had I stayed at Epic. So he's like, be happy I'm gone because I would have
What his issues were with it?
It was in development for a long time and it wasn't coming together.
Oh.
Because Fortnite was the like save the world mode, the other mode that people play, but it didn't have its battle royale thing.
Mm-hmm.
The battle royale thing was a free update that set the world on fire. So yeah, he like when he's talking about canceling Fortnite, he's talking about
just this one mode.
Yeah, not the mode. He didn't even know that mode was going to exist.
Okay.
So. Autumnal Blake says, glad that didn't happen because we probably wouldn't have gotten Tetris 99. And that would be the big sad. I guess that's true. We wouldn't have gotten Tetris 99. Bethesda's Pete Hines appeared on the Nintendo Power podcast. Pete Hines. He was on a Nintendo Power podcast that was after E3. And he seems to be teasing more content for Nintendo fans. He says, who knows? Maybe some more surprises for Nintendo fans on the way. Who knows? He knows. He's Pete Hines. He works at Bethesda. He's just not saying it. So more stuff's coming from them. What do we have from Bethesda? We got Elder Scrolls Blades. We got Wolfenstein Youngblood. We got Doom Eternal. That's it for this year, I think. I mean, that's a lot. That's 3 games this year, and 2 of them are quite major. Autumnal Blake says, it's a well-done podcast and some cool stuff comes out of it, but a month between episodes does not work very well. You forget that it exists every time. I'm sorry. We did that. Nah, we're not doing that. I'm going to do this one real quick, and then we're done with news because I found this really interesting. There's a mini-game collection on Wii U called Game Party Champions. This game was published by Warner Brothers. And at the time of development, Warner Brothers Games ordered the creation of this game, obviously, but they said they wanted to have a story mode. And the developers were like, it's a $20 mini-game collection. Why do you want a story mode in there? So Steve Bowler, he's the lead designer on the game. He heard they wanted a story mode, and he's like, oh, they want a story mode? I'll give them a story mode. This game follows a silent main character and his friend Jace. The main character is depressed because his father has passed away, and Jace convinces the main character to participate in a mini-game tournament to cheer up. As the story goes on, you start to notice that no one ever talks to Jace, and Jace only talks to the main character.
Is Jace like a ghost or something?
At the end of the game, you find out that Jace is the ghost of the main character's father.
Oh my god, what a twist.
This is a mini-game collection. Why is this?
I love it.
It's crazy.
Very deep.
Oh, man. That is so funny. The main character of the game is named Riley, which is the name of Steve Balor's daughter as well. So he, this was a top story literally like a couple minutes before we did the podcast. I love it. I love it so much. Like, they asked for a story in a minigame collection, which is silly to begin with, but he was like, all right, I'll give a story. And he did an interview and he's like, I wrote the story and they saw that everything was in there. Warner Brothers was like, yeah, that's good. Let's do it. He's like, I don't know why they approved it, but they did. And as Malakalo wants everybody to know, it was voiced by Bill Cosby, Ghost Dad, the original Ghost Dad.
We saw that for movie night, didn't we?
Deep cut.
We did.
We did, unfortunately. All right. We're running real late. Kirby, what did you play?
Do we have time?
We got quickly.
So yeah, I haven't been on the show for a couple of weeks now, but so since the last time I was on the show, I beat God of War.
Whoa!
But even more importantly than that, I also somehow managed to defeat all 9 of the Valkyrie.
Whoa!
Baby.
Which I don't even know how I pulled that off. Yeah, because I think I had beaten like maybe 2 of them before I got around to like beating the game, and then I got to like, and then I had like, I beat like another 2, and I was like, all right, maybe I'll just stop at 4, but then I just kept going. A couple of them really gave me trouble, but then, so yeah, for those of you who don't know, after you defeat 8 of the Valkyrie, it's revealed that there's a 9th one. She's the queen of the Valkyrie, and good lord, is she tough? For me personally, this is probably one of the hardest video game bosses I've fought in in a long time. It I spent like a couple of days just fighting her over and over again.
But you didn't give up.
That's right. I didn't give up, and like I said, I've enjoyed playing God of War. But the Valkyrie are probably like fighting the Valkyrie is probably going to be the thing that is going to like stick in my head for
Your
years.
crowning
now.
achievement in video games.
Yeah, just like like fighting the queen, like you do like so little damage. It like she's got this huge health bar, and it just like it just like goes down like a pixel at a time. If she hits you like more than like 3 or 4 times, you're dead.
Yeah, I feel like a similar situation to like Dark Souls or something like that.
Yeah, I know that like the development team were kind of inspired by like Dark Souls and Bloodborne, and I'm not saying that these bosses are anywhere near as difficult as the bosses in those games, but I got like a similar feel.
Yeah,
because it's all about like trial and error and just like memorizing their attack patterns and all that,
and
just
very little room for error.
Exactly, and just not giving up ever.
Sounds awful.
Well, congratulations.
Yeah, wonderful.
Yeah, I'm really proud of myself. And
did you need a cool wet rag?
I didn't, but there were times when I was just like I was so frustrated.
Eric says, yeah, she uses all the abilities from the previous Valkyrie. You have to use everything you learned from them.
Exactly, and like I found the Valkyrie to be like legitimately frightening because not only are they're really powerful, like they all wear masks. They all wear these like creepy masks that all look different with these like hollow looking eyes. They're all like super violent and aggressive. They can like subdue Kratos and like stomp his neck until he dies.
Drew says, great work, Kirby.
Thanks, guys.
Is that it? Just beating 2 games this week, or beating Valkyrie?
Beating 1 game.
Yeah.
Yeah, like for those of you who don't know, fighting the Valkyrie, it's completely optional in the game. Like you don't have to you don't have to like beat any of them.
But you started the slippery slope of doing 1, and then you're like,
yeah. Well, I'm saying you can play through the whole game and get to the end and beat the game without having to like
torture yourself.
Even find one of them.
Yeah. Is that it?
That's all I played. Yeah.
Bobby?
I'm playing Stardew Valley
Right now.
right this minute, and I am thoroughly enjoying it. I have found it to be quite relaxing and pleasant, and there's always a little something going on, which I like, and I have 0 complaints. That's it.
How are your animals doing?
Oh, they're wonderful. I have 3 chickens and 2 cows.
And their names, please?
Cows are Patty and Frank, and chickens are Henrietta, Beavis, and
Oh my God.
Henrietta, Beavis.
And Marmalade.
You don't know the names?
I asked you to name some
Oh.
of them, and now Henrietta, Beavis, and I don't Or...
Don't you also have a cat?
Oh yeah, my cat's Wumbus.
Wumbus the cat.
Yeah.
Drew says, "Nice knowing you, Mom Brain." Yeah, Stardew Valley is taking over. Somebody in the chat asked me what I've been playing.
Gertrude.
Gertrude. I was covering E3 this week, but I found time to check out Cadence of Hyrule because I needed to do a video for it. So I played some Cadence of Hyrule, but just last night I played a lot of Cadence of Hyrule. Oh man, oh man, oh man, that game's so good. I love it. I only stopped playing because I was like, I gotta go to bed. I have to. You know what I really like about Cadence of Hyrule? Everything. I really like how it forces you to take your time. Yes, you're moving to the beat, but usually in a Zelda game, you're like passing through scenes and environments and you come to know them a little bit. But with Cadence of Hyrule, you have to really take your time because you're moving one square at a time and blah, 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 blah. Everything about that game I love. It's just so addictive, and the soundtrack's great, and it feels great fighting the enemies to the beat of the music, and the map is really cool. There's plenty to explore. It's just great. It's great. I got all 4 instruments as of last night, so I went up to Hyrule Castle to go fight Spoiler, and we'll see what happens after that. I don't know if there's going to be more to it or not. Probably not, but I've put in. I really took my time with it, so I feel like I've put in like 4 or 5 hours so far. We'll see what happens, but yeah, it's great. It's great. It's so good. Yes, and Drew brings up a good point. Cryptid and Necrodancer, or Cryptid and Necromancer, dancer.
No, it's Cryptid the Necroprancer.
It's on sale. It was on sale. I don't know if it's on sale anymore.
Oh, no, I think we're dead.
I thought it was dead, but I wasn't sure.
You need the other speaker?
Was on sale, so if you really like Cadence of Hyrule, you can go check out that other one. I think the sale goes on until the 18th, but I could be wrong.
Yeah, you can. It's got it.
Oh.
I need the plug. And that plug. Yeah.
Give me everything.
Yeah.
So yeah, if Cadence of Hyrule gives you motion sickness, Silver, that's really.
Mm-hmm.
I need that explained. I'm not knocking you. I just need it explained. The game is like the screens are static.
A lot of movement.
Yeah, what do you mean a lot of movement? Your character moves
dancing.
like any other game.
Yeah. Motion sickness.
Look at all these characters moving around. Yeah, if you could explain that, Lunar or Silver Lunar, I appreciate it because I'm like I said, I'm not knocking it. I just don't understand it. All right, Mom Brain, you're going to have to stop because it's time for music. We're not doing questions. We're too late.
Oh, I'm all excited. Hold on.
For what?
For questions.
Not today. Send your questions to GoNintendoQuestions@gmail.com.
Where?
GoNintendoQuestions@gmail.com. They can be about Nintendo or games in general or anything you want.
Okay.
And send your music for the podcast to gnpodcastmusic@gmail.com. That is gnpodcastmusic@gmail.com. Silver Lunar says the screen shakes when you attack monsters. I didn't even notice it. Maybe you can turn that off.
All right.
Sonic.
First song comes from Glitter Bubble 3.
Sounds cheesy.
It's a little repetitive.
So I'm going a licensed game.
It is licensed.
Okay.
I'm feeling like it's real bad. I don't know what system. I guess it's not 64. It's above that.
Cube.
Licensed on the Cube.
Charlie's Angels.
Oh, good guess. Some sort of racing game.
I think so.
Yeah, like
Really?
Maybe.
What was racing? Beetle? No. Licensed racing game. What does that even mean?
The franchise that it is doesn't mean it's not about racing.
Okay. Simpsons Hit and Run.
Yeah.
Oh my god!
I was trying to think of what licensed car games there were. Like, there's not really a lot of licensed car games.
That's
Like
true.
Hello Kitty Cruisers and Garfield Kart.
Might be 3319 since it's this one.
Certainly neither of them. Oh, God. I know this. Is this Barbie?
No.
Okay. Is this
Is this also licensed?
I don't think so.
Bad Dudes?
Nope.
Sometimes is it?
Is it like California surf
Nope.
design or whatever it is?
Turn it up a little bit.
Wow.
I'm fixing it.
It's like, okay, it's a fighting game. I know that.
Is it?
I'm pretty sure.
No promises.
It's not River City Ransom.
No.
Is it that the dodgeball game?
No. I think it's the same company, but it's like not like that style, the Kunio-kun style of character.
Okay.
It's a virtual console game. I'm almost positive. Fighting, NES, like it's beat 'em up. There's like subway cars and graffiti and Renegade. It's
Yep.
Renegade. Yes. Yes. Yes.
You were 4 seconds away. from it.
I knew I played it.
All right. That was from Mikey 3319. This one comes from Wired.
What system?
Switch.
Oh dear. Well, it's not first party. I don't believe. Go ahead.
Dead Cells.
Oh God, I haven't played Dead Cells in so long.
All right. It's from Wired. This one is from Oystein.
Oh dear. Oh no. Okay. Terrible.
Is it gum?
No. Putty.
Oh no.
Oh my God. Oh my God.
You're gonna have to wash your own hands.
Oh no.
Coming.
Delta Room.
Yes.
So Mom Brain accidentally revealed that she had a Deltarune song on the podcast today, but I didn't hear what song it was. But come on, I know my Deltarune.
All right. So I'm gonna call that a bonus song for the day.
Okay.
Next one comes from Giant
Reggie. I know this. Why do I know this? What system? Well, we'll go with the Sonic guess because it's guitar and singing. All right, so Sonic on the Wii. This should be easy enough. Sonic and the Black Knight.
No.
Sonic and the Secret Rings.
Yes. Great job. Sonic and the Secret Rings on the Wii from Giant Reggie. This one comes from Link's Toe Milk.
Right, you're trying to fool us, I'm sure. Phantom Hourglass?
Yes.
Not gonna get me.
That was Phantom Hourglass from Link's Toe Milk. This one comes from Jet Jaguar.
Focus all attacks. Jet Jaguar.
Thinking.
Oh, that noise. Yeah, that. You know it's a bad game. I don't even know what system.
Wii.
Bad game for
What is... Oh. Sounds like it's like an episode of like, Are You Afraid of the Dark or Goosebumps? I don't know. Do you know?
Nope.
I don't know.
House of the Dead 2 and 3. Return. Yeah. All right. This one comes
Well, at least I guessed the right like genre.
from Vindrimner. I apologize if I botched that.
The Wonderful 101.
Yes!
Oh man, what a great game. So cool. I mean, it's a platinum game. They make great games.
This one comes from Jess I.
This sounds familiar.
Yeah, I know this.
You guys have played it.
Shit.
What system?
64.
Oh, it's Perfect Dark.
Sure is.
Oh.
This one comes from Nate or Die.
I don't know. It's very simple. It's not bad, but it's very simple. I'm guessing it's earlier. It's got like a Fizanadu vibe to it, but I know it's not Fizanadu. I don't know. It's some RPG. I don't know.
Yep, it is.
Which one?
I don't know.
Wait, did we say it's on the NES?
It's on the NES.
Mm-hmm.
What RPGs are on the NES?
Crystallis.
Dragon Quest?
Mm-hmm.
Final Fantasy?
Yep.
Oh, okay.
Well, just the first Final Fantasy?
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah, the final one.
And the last song comes from, I almost said.
Man, we stumbled. I didn't know that one. We stumbled on that one.
Streaks.
Earthbound.
Yeah.
Very, very easy soundtrack to recognize right away.
Did not get House of the Dead.
We did not.
I think I might be the only one who didn't get.
Whoa!
Wait, let me see. You got Dead Cells, right?
No.
So 9 out of 11.
Get to my favorite part of the song. This game's soundtrack will forever remind me of your brother because for like a whole summer he was playing this here on the Wii U Virtual Console, and he stopped. All right.
Did you get far at least?
No,
Okay.
he didn't. He had a lot. I think saying he was a third into the game would be generous. But the game's long, and he was greatly offended when he's like, the game is real long. He was offended when I told him he wasn't very far, and he's like, "But I put in so much time." I was like, "You did, but you know, hours of that time was also losing battles and running through caves again and stuff like that."
How long is that game? Like, is it over 80 hours?
I want to say 40 hours easy, and that's like if you really know what you're doing and don't get lost and stuff. All right, that's it. We did it. That's a podcast.
Great job, guys.
Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. We'll see you next week. Goodbye, everybody.
Bye, everybody.
Bye.
All right, after show people, whatever you want. You got 2+ minutes. All done with Stardew?
So tired.
How tired are you?
I'm more tired than Santa after all his Christmas deliveries.
Well, Santa shouldn't be tired.
Is he magic?
No, because he does nothing all year. It's one night.
But I mean, every kid in the whole world? That's a lot.
He gets it done. He's got all year to plan it out.
But he's probably tired afterwards.
Who is Mom Brain romancing in Stardew?
Linus, the man who lives in a tent.
Oh boy! What attracted
He's
you
a
to
wild
Linus?
man.
Is that what it was?
Yeah. I love him. He's a simple dude.
Ross says, speaking of good, how about that Good Omens? I keep seeing commercials for it. I haven't watched it. Is it good? That show with Hideo Kojima is out on Amazon Video, too. I kind of want to see that.
You're supposed to read.
What is that can on the desk? What can? This can? If you're talking about this can, it's silly putty.
Thinking putty.
Do I have a rag? Yeah, I have a rag. Like a glasses cleaning rag. Why? Roth says he hears good things, and Alwolf says it's a great show. Well, maybe I'll have to check it out then. I just watched Barry. I watched all of Barry, and I'm very happy I did because it was a very good show. I really like it. And it's way darker than I thought it was going to be. I knew it was going to be dark, but it's much darker than I thought. And I also just finished the most recent season of Nailed It. Yes, I watched that, and that was great. I love Nailed It. Do I think the PlayStation Mini is worth $30? I mean, yeah, $30 is fine, right? There's got to be one game on there worth $30.
Linus doesn't carry a rag; he carries a blanket.
Malakayla is very upset that we don't have the soundboard set up because I'm talking about Barry.
Oh.
Drew says,
just a moment.
Natalia. Drew says, please watch Barry. Yeah, if people aren't watching Barry, watch Barry. I think it's doing all right, though. Mom Brain, watch Barry.
What's it about?
It's about a hitman who doesn't want to be a hitman anymore. Because he wants to become an actor.
So he's kind of like Bucky Barnes. Like he's, doesn't want to.
Bucky Barnes is not an actor.
He's exactly like Bucky Barnes.
Plus, Henry Winkler's in it, and he is fantastic.
Oh, I heard Henry Winkler interviewed on NPR, and he was talking about Barry.
Letty City says, I had a dream that Tommy Ravine and I came to visit Mom Brain's new baby, Togepi. Congratulations, Mom Brain, a beautiful Togepi.
You gave birth to a Togepi.
She's been carrying around his egg for weeks. Yes, watch Barry. And Henry Winkler won an Academy Award for it, whatever they're called. Oscar, Emmy. Well deserved. He's so good in it. Show's good. Lots of crazy, kooky characters.
Who does he play on the show?
He is the acting teacher.
Oh, okay.
He's in almost every episode. He's amazing. He's really, really, really good. He's an acting teacher that is like very full of himself.
Oh, that's awesome.
And like thinks he's the greatest actor that ever lived, and like his he's been in like a couple TV shows and plays, like nothing huge,
right.
But yeah, he's great. Plus Bill Hader is great. He does a very good job. And the whole show is great, but there's one episode in season 2 that is one of the greatest episodes of a TV show I've ever seen. It's very Twin Peaks as far as vibe goes. It's very weird, but in such a really endearing way. And there's very little dialogue. And apparently that episode was written and directed by Bill Hader himself. And I was like, oh man, he's got to do more. It's really good. Yes, Drew is right. He says Hank is also a good character. Hank's another character in the show who's amazing. I don't want to say too much about him, but yeah, Hank's one of my favorites. Watch Barry. That's what we're talking about on this podcast. Watch Barry. All right, we're done exporting. Thank you for watching. Thank you for listening. Thank you for your support during E3. And now, hopefully, we never hear any news about video games ever again. I'll see you next week. Goodbye, everybody.
Bye, everybody.